Hey, what's up, YouTube? For many reasons, I decided to report my PayPal scam situation. Apparently, this seems to be happening a lot to a lot of people. And, interesting things happen when you publicize this stuff and just put it out there. Maybe some positive can come from this. Maybe this can help people protect themselves better if you're using similar platforms. So the situation is this. And firstly, let me talk to you scammers. If you're a scammer or a potential scammer, let me just explain something to you for what it's worth. You probably don't care or you're not interested, but I do study a lot of esoteric teaching, and this is something that you may not know or realize. You may not understand that this may not work out well. There's karma and the laws of the universe, and there is consequences for each action and decision you make. And some of us are on such a lower vibration and such a lower consciousness, that's why they do things like this. Honestly, I was a good kid, but there's probably about one or two things that I did that was not too good and involving money. I mean, I've done lots of other bad things, but we're talking, money. And it involved an apartment. It wasn't too cool, but in my defense, I won't go into it, but let's just say at the time, I wasn't really in the right state of mind. It was during a time in my life where, I wasn't making the best choices. Let's just say that, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, when you do things, you're going to pay for it. When you choose to do negative things, it's going to come back to you. And in short, you really shouldn't do that stuff. You should just, try to be a good person and try to do good things to people, because that'll come back to you. And on the flip side, if you're an asshole and you do bad things to people, that's going to come around to you too. I can't, it's just like something that you just, I just wish everybody understood. You don't get it, and you probably can't see it before you right now, but you curse yourself when you do shit like this. Anyway, so what happened was I do work. I do a lot of different type of freelance work. I am a freelance writer. I'm a voiceover actor. I'm a music producer, songwriter, and I do a lot of different work for different people on different sites under different names. And one of the sites that I work through is I have a bunch of gigs on there, and I do pretty well on that site. And I get hired by people all the time, every day. So I didn't really question anything. I didn't really, I didn't have any fear. I just, I handle customers every day, and it's no big deal. One customer in particular, a guy who put his name as Jeff Crichton, as you see here. I'm not sure if this is his real name, but he set up a profile as Jeff Crichton, and he ordered 2 projects for me. He wanted me to narrate some kind of news story about Cruz, Izzy Cruz, the music producer from Australia. And ironically, he wanted me to report something about him being screwed over. Yeah, so this guy had the audacity. A lot of these people that do this sort of stuff, you just gotta assume that there's something just not mentally right with these type of people. Something's really just off. Anyway, this guy hires me to report something on Cruz's situation with his company Nufirm and Ministry of Sound. These guys are out in Australia. So he wanted me to report something about Cruz getting screwed over out of money. And he had me do something that cost. The first job was $60. I'm showing it to you guys right here. This is the order number and everything. And the second job was $150. Typical day at work, no big deal. I suspected nothing. I already know I do a good job. I have over 100 reviews, all 5.0 perfect rating. I have no negative reviews. So that's just food for thought, to think about in terms of who gets the benefit of the doubt if there was an issue. All right, so I have a perfect ranking on the site. I submit the work to the guy. He approves it. He then gives me 5 stars on both jobs. He said it was great. He said it was great. It's done. And it's not like, an appliance. A voiceover is a voiceover. When you get it, you hear it, you know instantly if it's what you need or not. He listened to it, he approved them, and he checked them off, both 5 stars. We were done. The job was delivered. I rendered the work to him. We're done. He paid for it. That was it. Or that was supposed to be it. About a month goes by, and there is a bunch of money in my account, and I don't always withdraw it into my PayPal account. Sometimes I just leave it sitting there. I don't really need it right away. I just, sit it there. Sometimes I buy things on the site and I just leave that money in the account. So then I looked at the account one day and I noticed that the balance was 200 and change shorter than it was the day before. I'm like, that's strange. I didn't purchase anything. Let me look into that. So I check, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely like 200 and something dollars short from yesterday. I remember looking at the balance. So I'm like, what is going on? Couldn't figure it out. Long story short, this same dude waited a month, went back, and canceled the job retroactively. So I talked to her about, like, yo, how can you do this? This is not acceptable. Spoke to everyone there. I even went to a mixer, spoke to the people there, all cool people. Had a great time meeting them. But I think the situation was even out of their hands. I mean, they empathized with me. They were genuinely concerned and genuinely sorry that this happened. But, I don't think there was anything that they could do because they were beholden to the credit card company or whatever happened, which was PayPal. So a long story short, after I did my due diligence, after I looked into the situation, what happened was the guy ordered the gig. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's a scam artist, and he did this on purpose. He's probably a pro, probably does this all the time. This is what people like this do. He knew he was going to order the stuff. He received the stuff. Once you give him the stuff, he's got it. That's it. So he was just going to wait a little bit, then file a dispute with PayPal and just call them and say, oh, well, this is make up some bullshit, basically. And PayPal just gives the money back. They just refund the money. And when the money's refunded, he got 2 cancellations on my account, on my profile rather, and ruined my perfect customer relations record. He didn't, it didn't give me a negative ranking, but when you accumulate a certain amount of cancellations and things like that, it affects my account. So this was not a canceled gig. This was just some scam artist clown that came on my site, knew he was going to do this, and he ruined my perfect, situation. Pulling this sort of thing is just this. It's not cool. It's not a good look. It's not even something that you can chuckle with your friend about. You just look really low. I mean, I can understand when it's some kind of big company that you do this to, and you feel like you get over. As much as I feel that that's wrong as well, at least I get it a little. When you do this to artists and musicians and people who are in business for themselves, working hard, you are such a degenerate. Like, a girl should really leave a guy for something like this, because it just shows it's just a display of character or lack of it that is really telling. Anyway, so I called PayPal, explained to them the situation, and they're just kind of like, they couldn't tell me anything. So basically, they kind of have a system that aids scam artists. And the more I looked into this, the more I realized how pervasive this situation actually is. There's a lot of freelancers and sellers on eBay, on all sorts of platforms that are having this problem because of this loaded gun PayPal has, when it comes to disputing charges. Pretty insane. So until there's some kind of intervention, degenerates all around the world, like this guy Jeff Crichton, are given this loaded gun where they have the option to, just charge something, and then, when they feel like it, just make up something and then have the thing refunded. So this can't last because it's just legalized theft. So something's going to happen. I think PayPal eventually, they're going to get sued. Something's going to happen where they're going to, eventually have the sense to stop this or kind of put some regulations in place to prevent this. But I think at this point, it won't bother them until they start racking up some lawsuits. So this is, informational. Like, if I'm sure his name is not Jeff Crichton, but if this piece of work sounds familiar, I would appreciate your help in this matter. That would be awesome, because I don't like, people like this to get away with stuff like that, especially since he's probably doing business with people who have no idea they're doing business with just some cheap scam artist crook that, you probably wouldn't want to interact with or do business with on any level if you knew that he was stealing and taking advantage of hardworking people. So, like I said, if this sounds familiar, please do tell. So to all you entrepreneurs out there working in your own time and in your own way, keep up the great work. And just try to share anything that you can from time to time to help, other entrepreneurs in the freelancer community. Because sometimes there's unforeseen pitfalls that really suck when you have no protection. When people are in our situation who are putting our necks out there to forge a living for ourselves, and we have to deal with bullshit like this, which is why I'm sharing this now. I get several orders a day on different platforms, and this is the first time this has happened to me. So just putting it out there that, this can happen, and this did happen, and be careful. And most importantly, if anyone has gone through this and has anything to add or anything helpful to, shed some light on, definitely share those things here. And, I would definitely love to move forward and do something about this. So please, by all means, leave some comments. So thank you for listening. Check out the other videos. Be blessed.